Welcome back to Mind Pop Story. In episode 20, Spider-Man faced the web weaver and restored balance to the multiverse, or so he thought. But deep within the core web, a single thread had been left behind, cut, frayed, and full of rage. That thread has now become something darker, something hungry. The Null Thread. It takes the form of a man that Peter recognizes. It looks exactly like him. And that's when Peter knows this is an enemy he's fought before. Well, sort of, Peter Parker. And if it keeps going, it will consume his memories, his relationships, his allies. One by one, and eventually he won't even know who he is. Just then, more of the Null Thread's tendrils come crashing down. The threads that held the Null Thread together crack, and all the fragments fly away, unable to contain the flood of meaning. A web storm is gathering in the center of the multiverse, and something ancient is calling every spider. But Peter doesn't know it yet. He doesn't know because the message hasn't reached him yet. He doesn't know because the Null Thread severed the connection. And now Peter must find a way to get it back. Peter steps out of the memory core, exhausted but resolute. The Null Thread is defeated, but it fades with a final whisper. I'm not the last, just the first. The multiverse is stable again, and Peter breathes a sigh of relief. Moon-Jae and Aunt May return, none the wiser about the events that unfolded. But Gwen, Ned, and Miles are changed. They remember what happened, but they can't explain it. They can't tell anyone, and Peter respects that. They hit JIY, and for a moment, JIY flickers and loses in May's memory. But Peter stops it just in time. Aunt May might forget Peter, but she will always remember the good food and games he brought her, and faces a terrifying new enemy in an all-new adventure, Webstorm Surge. Will Peter be able to fix the damage done by the Null Thread? And what is the significance of the mysterious Webstorm Surge? Find out next time on Mind Pop Story. Don't miss it. And that tiny spark of meaning stabilizes her, knocking the Null Thread's tendrils away. I am the writer and executive producer of Mind Pop Story. And today, we talked about Spider-Man and the Null Thread Unleashed. Do you have a favorite character in the Spider-Man canon? Or do you have a favorite Spider-Man story? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe. Join the Mind Pop Squad and get ready for more amazing stories. See you next time. Peter realizes that he can use this to his advantage. Every interaction, every creation, every bond, every shared moment gives people meaning, and that meaning can stabilize them against the Null Thread. All he needs is a way to make these moments last. You erased me when you made your choice. So this Dark Peter is a fragment of the original Peter Parker from another dimension. Peter, flashbacks play. We see Peter and MJ meeting for the first time in 6th grade. Peter and MJ sharing their first kiss. We see Peter and Gwen teaming up for the first time. We see Peter and Miles fighting side by side. We see Peter and Aunt May playing checkers. The memory core grows bigger and brighter as each moment is recreated, glowing threads of meaning that the Null Thread cannot touch. But the Null Thread has its own memories too. It remembers when Uncle Ben died. It remembers when Gwen Stacy died. It remembers the pain and grief Peter felt. And it uses those memories to hurt him. The one whose story was rewritten when Peter made his choice to save both universes at the end of episode 19. Now they are in a collapsing maze of web tunnels, and the Null Thread is unraveling everything. It's destroying the connections that Peter has built and twisting them against him. Peter thinks about everything he's been through. He thinks about how he used to doubt himself, how he used to blame others, how he used to push everyone away. But he remembers how he grew. He remembers how he tried to be better. He thinks about his Aunt May, who believed in him when he didn't believe in himself. He thinks about MJ, who challenged him and pushed him to be a better hero and a better person. He thinks about Gwen, who taught him the true meaning of responsibility. He thinks about Ned, who helped him realize that being a hero isn't about power, it's about compassion. And he thinks about all the other people he has helped, the lives he has saved, the smiles he has brought. Peter understands now that being Spider-Man isn't just about the suit. It's about who he is. He may not be perfect, but he matters because he chooses to be better. Instead of fading away, this Peter became something called the Null Thread, a sentient shadow of Spider-Man with no morals, no guilt, and no purpose but to undo what Peter did. If Peter brought light into existence, the Null Thread will bring darkness. And it starts with the things Peter loves the most. Our story starts with Peter waking up from a vivid dream. It feels so real. He could still hear the silence. He could still feel the city without its people. And then he sees this big tarantula, and it's climbing out from between the curtains. And as it climbs out, he hears this faint echo. This could be the end of us. This could be the end of all of our stories. Startled, Peter jumps out of bed and immediately sees that Aunt May is nowhere to be found, like she just vanished. As he goes looking for her, he runs into J.Y., who also seems kind of glitchy. And J.Y. is picking up a strange signal across the multiverse. They call it non-existent code spreading like static through their systems. And suddenly, boom, a giant black pulse erupts from the sky. And wherever it touches, it's turning everything web to ash. And then from that pulse comes a figure made of negative energy. It seems to devour all light and sound. The Null Thread reaches out and wraps one of its shadowy tendrils around MJ. She immediately turns cold and emotionless. Then she attacks Peter. Peter can't fight back. He doesn't want to hurt MJ, but the Null Thread continues to attack. It's getting stronger. It's devouring the bonds Peter has created and twisting them against him. Now Aunt May is frozen solid. And then Gwen shows up and gets sucked into the Null Thread's grasp as well. Peter manages to break free and swing away, but he's shaken. He never felt such conflicting emotions at once. Can the Null Thread really erase everything he's built? What does it mean for someone to exist if they don't have anyone? No friends, no family, no connection. Peter swings over to J.Y., hoping for some answers. J.Y. reveals that the Null Thread is feeding off of Peter's emotional connections, the people he cares about. So Peter activates J.Y. again and recreates his memory core, a vault of every moment that makes Peter. The Null Thread wraps itself in a shroud of shadows and morphs into a massive tarantula. It scuttles into the memory core, trapping Peter inside. As he embraces all of that meaning, he projects it outward, engulfing the Null Thread, breaking it apart. Meanwhile, somewhere far away, a new threat is emerging. Next time on Mind Pop Story, join Peter as he regroups with old allies. Hi, welcome to Mind Pop Story. My name is Anonymous.